The war had lasted for 800 years. The Ardovian alliance fought the Velothian Empire across many star systems. No one remembered how it started. No one believed it would ever end. Many alien races were forced to join the fight. Their home planets became places to get resources or build military bases. War was just a normal part of life for everyone. Fleet Admiral Tae-ho stood by the large window of his ship, the Eternal Vigilance. The window was made of thick, strong glass. His tired face showed in the reflection as he looked at another destroyed battlefield. His crew members, who came from 17 different alien species, worked hard at their posts. "We have another draw, Admiral," said Commander Jin. She was a Kelvarian, a crystal-like being who served as the ship's battle expert. Her body sparkled under the lights of the bridge. 700,000 dead. No side won anything. Tae-ho gave a sad nod. It was always the same story. Big battles, new weapons, counter-weapons, more battles. The Ardovian Alliance and Velothian Empire were too equal in strength. Their war machines were both powerful and terrible. "The leaders want to know what you think," Jin said. Her voice had a musical sound that all members of her species shared. "Tell them what I always say," Tae-ho answered. "We cannot win this war with our usual methods. It will go on forever." The sad truth was that both sides had reached the limits of their technology. For hundreds of years, new inventions had been small and not very helpful. The entire galaxy's economy only existed to support the war. Billions of beings lived and died just to be soldiers for one side or the other. While Tae-ho was thinking about this, the ship's communication system made a sound. It was a message from the farthest watching stations of Alliance space. "Admiral," called Lieutenant Subin from the communications area, "we've found strange travel signals at the edge of the Orion Spur. It's a species we've never seen before." Tae-ho fixed his uniform and stood up straight. "A new player in this endless game? Show me." The screen in the middle of the room turned on, showing a small group of strangely built ships. They looked different from anything in the Alliance or Empire records. The ships were practical rather than beautiful, strong but without the extra weapons that most warships in the galaxy had. "What can you tell me about them?" Tae-ho asked. "They're sending messages on all channels, sir," Subin said. "In over 300 languages. They call themselves humans." Tae-ho moved closer to the screen. Something about these ships was different. They didn't have the look of a race that had been fighting for centuries. These ships seemed built for exploration, not endless war. "Are they a threat?" he asked. Jin studied her sensors. "Hard to say, Admiral. Their technology is unusual, not as advanced as ours in some ways, but innovative in others. They have weapons, but not as many as our ships or the Empire's." "What do their messages say?" Tae-ho asked, his eyes not leaving the screen. "They're asking to talk," Subin replied. "They say they're new to interstellar travel and wish to meet with representatives of the major powers in this region." Tae-ho felt something he hadn't felt in decades. Curiosity. In the endless war, there was rarely anything new or surprising. Everything followed the same patterns, the same strategies with minor changes. But these humans were an unknown factor. "Send word to High Command," he ordered. "Tell them we have first contact with a new species. Request permission to meet with them." "Admiral," Jin's voice had a warning tone, "the Empire will also detect their presence soon, if they haven't already." "All the more reason to act quickly," Tae-ho said. "If these humans have something valuable, technology, resources, a strategic position, we can't let the Empire reach them first." As the message was sent, Tae-ho watched the human ships on the screen. They moved in formation, but not a military one that he recognized. It was more like a group of explorers, staying close for safety while still maintaining their independence. "Admiral," Subin called out, "I'm receiving more detailed transmissions now. The humans are sending information about themselves." "What kind of information?" Tae-ho asked. "Cultural data, historical records, scientific knowledge." Subin sounded surprised. "They're freely sharing information about their homeworld, their society, even their biology. It's not what an enemy would do." This was indeed strange. In the war, information was precious. No one shared anything freely. Every bit of knowledge could be a weapon. Put their star charts on screen, Taeho ordered. The display changed to show a map of a small section of the galaxy. A single yellow star was marked as Sol, apparently the humans' home system. It was in a region that both the Alliance and Empire had ignored, seeing it as having little strategic value. They've been there all this time, Taeho said quietly. Developing, growing while we've been locked in our endless war. High Command is responding, Admiral, Subin announced. They're ordering us to make contact with the humans and assess their potential value to the Alliance. Taeho nodded. Set course to intercept their fleet, peaceful approach pattern, and prepare a welcome message. As the Eternal Vigilance changed direction, Taeho couldn't shake the feeling that something important was about to happen. After 800 years of the same war with the same enemy, using the same tactics, something new had entered the game. Let's see what these humans have to offer, he said, more to himself than to his crew. Little did he know that in just a few hours, the war that had defined the galaxy for 8 centuries would change forever. 3 days after spotting the human ships, both sides agreed to a meeting. They chose a space station that circled a dead star. No one owned this place, so it was safe for talks. Admiral Taeho went to speak for the Ardovian Alliance. The Velothian Empire sent Supreme Executor Vec, a tall bug-like alien. Vec's mouth parts clicked together when he was angry, which was most of the time. The human called herself Ambassador Yoon. She looked simple. 2 arms, 2 legs, no weapons on her body. Taeho was surprised at how calm she seemed. Here she was talking to leaders from 2 huge space empires that could destroy her world. Yet she acted like she was meeting old friends for dinner. The meeting room was plain, with a round table and 3 chairs. Guards from all 3 groups stood along, the walls watching each other carefully. Thank you for meeting with us, Yoon said. Her translator made her words clear to everyone. Humans have only had faster-than-light travel for 20 years. We've been watching your war before deciding to speak with you. Vec's mouth parts clicked. Faster. Then you see how big our war is. This is the way of the universe. The strong win, the weak serve or die. What we see, Yoon replied calmly, is a war that has killed trillions of people and ruined thousands of worlds. And for what? Nothing has been decided in 800 years. Taeho watched the human closely. Why would such a new species care about an old war? Ambassador Yoon, your people are new to space travel. Your ships are good for beginners, but you have few of them. They cannot match our fleets. Why do humans care about our war? Yoon smiled. Taeho knew this was a friendly gesture for humans. We came to offer a solution. Vec made a sound like harsh laughter. A solution? From beginners? Your people haven't even settled all the planets in your own star system. That's true, Yoon nodded. But we have something both your empires have lost. A fresh view. We've studied your war from the records we found. We've looked at how you fight, what technology you use, and why you keep fighting. We found the big problems in how you think about this war. Problems? Taeho raised an eyebrow. He didn't want to seem interested, but he was. Yes, said Yoon. You fought the same way for so long that you can't see other options anymore. We humans asked to step in, not with weapons, but with new ideas. Vec stood up, towering over the human. And if we say no to your help? Yoon's face stayed calm. Then we will leave and let you continue your endless war. But remember this, humans won't stay out of this forever. We have our own future to protect. Something in her voice made Taeho feel uneasy. It wasn't a threat exactly. It was more like she was stating a fact. Taeho had led fleets for over 60 years. He knew real confidence when he saw it. The Alliance will think about your offer, he said after a moment. The Empire will also consider it, Vec added, though his body language showed he didn't like it. Yoon bowed her head slightly. Thank you. Humanity will wait for your answer. The first meeting ended there, but 2 more were planned for the next day. As Taeho walked back to his ship, he kept thinking about the human ambassador. She wasn't what he expected. What do you make of them, Admiral? Asked Commander Jin, who had attended as his advisor. They're either very brave or very foolish, Taeho replied. Maybe both. Their ships have unusual energy readings, Jin said. Our sensors can't fully understand their technology. It's different from ours. Different how? Taeho asked. It's hard to explain. Jin's crystal body flickered with light as she thought. Their technology seems efficient. They do more with less, and there are elements we can't identify. This was interesting. Both the Alliance and Empire had similar technology, just different designs. True innovation was rare after so many years of war. Each side would copy the other's advances. Quickly, back on his ship, Taeho received a message from High Command. They had been watching the meeting through his eye implant. You are authorized to continue talks with the humans, the message read. Learn what solution they propose. Assess if it gives us advantage over the Empire. Taeho suspected the Empire's leaders were giving Vec similar orders. Both sides would pretend to listen while looking for ways to use the humans against each other. The next day, Taeho returned to the meeting room. This time, Yoon brought another human named Hyun. He was introduced as their military expert. Vec brought his own advisor too, a Velothian scientist. Yesterday you spoke of a solution, Taeho said, getting straight to the point. What exactly do humans offer? Yoon nodded to Hyun, who activated a small device. A 3D map of the galaxy appeared above the table, showing Alliance territory in blue, Empire in red, and disputed areas in purple. For 800 years your borders have barely changed, Hyun said. Your war is stuck. Because we are equally matched, Vec said proudly. No, Hyun replied, because you're both fighting the wrong war. The map zoomed in to show a recent battle site. Hyun began explaining a completely different way to think about strategy, resources, and even the purpose of the war itself. As Taeho listened, he felt something he hadn't felt in years. Hope that maybe, just maybe, this endless conflict could change. 2 weeks after the meetings, both sides made a surprising choice. They would let human watchers join their military commands. This had never happened before. They were curious about humans and wanted to see what they could do. Taeho began working with a human military expert named Hyun. He was a quiet man who could understand battle plans very quickly. Your way of fighting is interesting, Hyun said as they looked at plans for the next battle in the Cygnus area. You've made everything perfect for a long, never-ending war. War is our normal state, Taeho said. He was repeating what every Alliance officer learned. We win by lasting longer than the enemy. Hyun shook his head. That's where you're wrong, Admiral. War isn't normal. It's a tool to get something. You've forgotten what you're trying to get. Before Taeho could answer, an urgent message came in. The Velothian Empire had attacked 3 Alliance star systems at once. This was not their usual way of fighting. They're testing us, Taeho said. They want to see how having humans with us changes things. Probably, Hyun agreed, studying the battle map. How would you normally fight back? Split our ships into 3 groups, send help to all 3 systems, and get ready for a long battle in each place, Taeho answered without thinking. Hyun nodded. And that's exactly why this war has gone on for 800 years. He pointed at the map. Can I suggest something different? For the next 6 hours, Hyun explained a plan that broke all the rules of Alliance fighting. Instead of splitting their forces, he wanted to send all ships against the weakest part of the Velothian attack. Instead of protecting all important buildings and bases, he suggested letting some be destroyed to make the Empire think they were winning. This goes against everything we know, Taeho argued. Exactly, Hyun said softly. That's the whole idea. After much talk, Taeho took a chance and tried the humans' plan. What happened next shocked everyone. The Velothian forces, expecting the usual Alliance response, were completely surprised by the focused attack. Within 12 hours, the Empire lost an entire fleet, the biggest victory anyone had seen in over 100 years. Similar things were happening all across the war zone. Human advisors were bringing unexpected ideas to a war that had become like a ritual over the centuries. They weren't using better technology or bigger weapons, just new ways of thinking. As reports came in from other areas, Taiho realized the humans had changed the war completely in less than one day. "This isn't just about how to fight battles, is it?" he asked Hyun as they watched their victory unfold. "No," the human admitted. "This is about breaking old habits. Your civilizations have been stuck in the same cycle for too long. We're just interrupting it. What's your real goal?" Taeho asked. Hyun's face gave nothing away. "That depends on what happens next." Back on his flagship, Taeho called a meeting with his top officers. They gathered in the secure war room, their faces showing a mix of confusion and excitement. "The battle reports are unlike anything I've seen in my lifetime," said Commander Jin. Her crystal body glowed brighter than usual, showing her excitement. "Total Velothian losses: 3 capital ships, 27 destroyers, and over 50 support vessels. Our losses: minimal." "It's the same in the Proxima and Tau sectors," added Fleet Captain Day. "The humans' tactics are unexpected. The Empire doesn't know how to respond." Taeho looked at Hyun, who stood quietly in the corner. "High Command is impressed. They want to know what other ideas you have." "Many," Hyun replied. "But there's something you should understand. We're not just changing how you fight, we're changing what you're fighting for." The room went silent. For 800 years, the purpose of the war had been simple: defeat the enemy, expand territory, secure resources. No one questioned it anymore. "Explain," Taeho said. Hyun walked to the center of the room. "Your war has become its own purpose. You fight because you've always fought. But wars should end. They should lead to peace." "Peace?" Captain Day laughed. "With the Empire? Impossible. Their whole society is built on conquest." "So was yours once," Hyun replied calmly. "But now both the Alliance and Empire exist only to fight each other. Your economies, your technologies, your cultures, all focused on war. And for what? The same stars change hands every few decades. Nothing is truly gained." Taeho felt uncomfortable. These were dangerous thoughts, almost treasonous. But after seeing today's results, he couldn't dismiss them. "What are you suggesting?" he asked carefully. "Let us help you win. Truly win," Hyun said. "Not by destroying the Empire, but by ending the cycle." Before Taeho could respond, another urgent message arrived. The Velothian Empire was requesting an emergency meeting with Alliance leadership and the humans. This was unprecedented in the history of the war. "It seems the Empire is as surprised as we are," Taeho said. He looked at Hyun with new respect and a bit of fear. "What did your people do to their forces?" "The same thing we did here," Hyun said. "We showed them a different way." As the Alliance leaders prepared for the unexpected meeting, Taeho realized that in just one day, humans had achieved what 800 years of war could not. They had created a moment where both sides stopped to reconsider everything they thought they knew. The success of the human battle plans led to something no one expected. Both the Ardovian Alliance and the Velothian Empire asked for a peace meeting. After centuries of war, the sudden change in how battles were fought created a chance for talks that neither side could ignore. The meeting was held on Earth itself, a planet that neither great power could claim. Taeho found the human homeworld surprisingly beautiful. It had big oceans, many different kinds of land, and changing weather. Most surprising was how much of the planet was still natural. Large areas had no cities or bases, just forests, mountains, and animals. This was strange to people from worlds that had been shaped by war for centuries. The meeting place was a large hall in a city called Seoul. Leaders from both space powers came, along with people from many smaller worlds that had been forced to join the war. The humans had insisted that these smaller worlds be included, another break from tradition. Ambassador Yoon opened the meeting with a simple statement. "Today we introduce the resolution protocol." What followed was not what Taeho expected. Usually peace talks were about drawing new borders, paying for damages, or exchanging prisoners. Instead, the humans presented a plan to change how the whole galaxy worked, one that would completely change who had power and why. "The first part of our plan," explained Min, the main human speaker, is spreading out power. Both the Alliance and Empire have grown too big to be run well by just one central government. This statement caused shouting from both sides. Taeho watched as Vec's mouth parts clicked angrily, while his own people yelled objections. Min waited for everyone to quiet down. The second part is freedom for all thinking beings. Each world will choose its own leaders with a galaxy council to help solve problems and share resources. Impossible, shouted the Alliance Chancellor. The Alliance cannot be broken up. The Empire is forever, yelled the Velothian delegates. Are they? Asked a new human voice. A man named June stepped forward and turned on a 3D display in the center of the hall. We've studied how your civilizations work. Neither can last much longer. The display showed pictures of resources running out, populations getting smaller, and technology stopping its progress. All direct results of the never-ending war. Within 50 years, June continued, both the Alliance and Empire will start to fall apart no matter who wins battles. The war isn't just unwinnable. It's destroying the very civilizations you're fighting to save. The room went quiet as everyone thought about what this meant. Taeho felt cold as he recognized the truth in the human's words. The Alliance leaders had seen similar predictions but had kept them secret, believing there was no other choice but to continue fighting. What you're suggesting isn't just peace, Taeho said quietly. It's a complete change of everything we know. Yes, Ambassador Yoon agreed, but a peaceful change if you choose to accept it. And if we say no, Vec demanded. June turned off the display. Then humans will leave this meeting and you can continue your war. But we will not stay out of a conflict that threatens the stability of the galaxy we now live in. We will protect what must be protected. There it was again. That same certainty Taeho had heard in their first meeting. Not a threat, but a promise. How can your people so new to space travel think you can tell much older civilizations what to do? Asked the Empire's representative. Because, Yoon replied, sometimes it takes someone from outside to see what those inside cannot. You've both forgotten how to imagine peace. The talks continued through the day and into the night. Taeho found himself sitting with Hyun in a small side room during a break. Both were drinking water from simple cups. Your resolution protocol would end both the Alliance and the Empire as we know them, Taeho said. You're asking us to give up everything. Hyun shook his head. No, we're asking you to save what matters most. Your cultures, your knowledge, your people. The Alliance and Empire are just structures, tools that once had a purpose, but now exist. Only to fight each other. And what would replace them? Taeho asked. A galactic community, Hyun said. Where each world governs itself but all work together on big problems. Where trade creates connections instead of war. It sounds like a child's dream, Taeho said, but his voice lacked conviction. All great changes start as dreams, Hyun replied. Before you build something, you must first imagine it. As the break ended and they returned to the main hall, Taeho noticed something strange. Many delegates who had been fierce supporters of the war were now talking quietly with humans, asking questions, listening carefully. The atmosphere had changed from anger to curiosity. Ambassador Yoon called everyone back to order. We've shared our plan. Now we need your answer. Not today. We know such a big decision needs time. We invite both the Alliance and Empire to send teams to Earth for 1 standard month. Study our world. See how we govern ourselves. Ask any questions. Then decide. The Alliance Chancellor and the Empire's head delegate looked at each other. For the first time in centuries, they shared the same problem: how to respond to the humans. The Alliance accepts your invitation, the Chancellor said finally. The Empire will also send representatives, the Velothian agreed. As the meeting ended, Taeho found himself walking with Ambassador Yoon toward the exit. You've achieved more in a few weeks than 8 centuries of war, he said. How? By offering a different future, she replied. For too long, both sides could only imagine victory or defeat. We showed a third path. And if we reject this path, Hyun looked at him with gentle eyes, then we'll be very disappointed. But humans are stubborn, Admiral. We don't give up easily on things that matter. As Taeho boarded his shuttle to return to orbit, he looked back at the blue and green planet below. For the first time in his long career, he was thinking not about the next battle, but about what might come after the war. The peace talks lasted much longer than anyone thought they would. 3 months of hard discussions, arguments, and sometimes threats to start fighting again. Through it all, the humans stayed firm on their plan. The old system had to end. What finally changed everything wasn't just talk, but truth. During one heated meeting, June showed proof that both Alliance and Empire leaders had been making the war last on purpose, hiding technologies that might have ended it, killing people who wanted peace, and telling lies to their own people. The war became your reason for existing, he explained to the shocked listeners. Not a tool to get something, but the goal itself. The evidence was clear, taken from both human research and old records that neither power had thought to protect from the curious newcomers. When faced with the truth about their own governments, many delegates switched to supporting the human resolution protocol. As the talks neared their end, a group of hardliners from both the Alliance and Empire tried one last, desperate move. They planned a surprise attack on Earth itself, hoping to kill the human leaders and stop the changes to their power. What happened next would be remembered across the galaxy for generations. The human defense was unlike anything anyone had ever seen, not because of big weapons or advanced technology, but because of how efficient and precise it was. The combined fleet of Alliance and Empire warships, over 400 ships built for space battle, was stopped within hours. Not destroyed, stopped. Human defenses shut down weapon systems, communication arrays, and engines with perfect aim. Very few people died, but the message was clear. Humans could have destroyed them all if they wanted to. When the defeated fleet commanders were brought to Earth to surrender, they faced Ambassador Yoon once more. "You misunderstood us," she told them calmly. "We didn't join your war to become another fighter. We joined to end it." Afterward, the resolution protocol was signed by representatives from over 800 worlds, including former Alliance and Empire territories. The process of spreading out power began right away, with humans providing technical help for the change. Taeho, who had opposed the attack on Earth, was chosen as one of the first members of the new Galaxy Council. In his first speech to that group, he thought about the big change that had happened. For 800 years, we fought a war we had forgotten how to win, or even why we were fighting. It took a species that hadn't even reached space during most of our conflict to show us that our greatest enemy wasn't each other, but our inability to imagine a different future. When humans joined our war, they didn't bring better weapons or more ships. They brought something much more powerful, a fresh view. And in doing so, they did what thousands of battles could not. They created peace. As everyone in the council room clapped, Taeho saw Ambassador Yoon across the room. She gave him a small nod, and he understood what no history book would ever fully explain. The most dangerous and powerful thing about humans wasn't their technology or their battle plans. It was their refusal to accept that some problems couldn't be solved. 6 months later, Taeho stood on a balcony overlooking the new Galaxy Council headquarters in Seoul. The building was a mix of styles from 20 different worlds, showing the new spirit of working together. Hyun joined him carrying 2 cups of a human drink called tea. "How is the transition going?" Hyun asked, handing Taeho a cup. "Better than I expected," Taeho admitted. "There are problems, of course. 800 years of war habits don't disappear overnight, but we're making progress. And the former Empire worlds? They're struggling more than Alliance planets, but they're changing too. Their system was built on conquest, so peace is a bigger adjustment for them." They sipped their tea in comfortable silence for a moment. "There's something I've wanted to ask you," Taeho said finally. "When you first met with us, you humans were so confident. You faced 2 massive space powers that could have destroyed your world, yet you acted like you were in control. How?" Hyun smiled. "It wasn't an act. We were in control." "But how? Your ships, while impressive for their age, were no match for our fleets." "True," Hyun nodded. "But we didn't need to match your fleets. We just needed to understand them, and you." I don't understand. Humans have a saying, knowledge is power. While your civilizations focused on building bigger weapons, we focused on understanding how those weapons, and the people who built them, worked. We found the patterns, the weaknesses, the blind spots that 8 centuries of the same war had created. Tejo thought about this. So when you said you could protect what needed protecting, we meant it, Hyun finished. We developed technologies specifically designed to counter your weapons, not to destroy them. That would just continue the cycle of war, but to simply stop them from working. Like you did with the fleet that attacked Earth. Yes, we could have done the same to any fleet that threatened us or the worlds we chose to protect. This was a sobering thought. Tejo looked out at the city, watching the mix of beings from across the galaxy walking its streets. So humans were never really at risk? Oh, we were, Hyun corrected him. Peace was always the better option. War would have cost lives on all sides. We just made sure we had leverage. A clever strategy, Tejo admitted. The best strategy is the one where you don't have to fight at all, Hyun said. That's what we tried to teach you. As the sun set over the city, Tejo realized that the galaxy had gained more than just peace from the humans. It had gained a new way of thinking, one that might finally break the endless cycles that had trapped so many civilizations. To the future, he said, raising his cup in a human gesture he had learned. To the future, Hyun agreed, touching his cup to Tejo's. It's going to be interesting.